Welcome to 5-Minute Fridays. My name is Putnam. I'm doing these Friday series of videos on something that's kind of going on in the garden at that time. So as we're, week by week, if we're going to be fertilizing in the garden or mulching in the garden or whatever we're doing in the garden at that time, I want to do a video that's kind of relevant to that. The weekly garden planner is over on my website and it's $50 off this month. It's a week by week garden planner that's much more detailed than these 5-Minute Friday videos will be. There's about 30 to 40 pieces of content per month on the weekly garden planner. If you're interested in that, it's linked down below. This week's video is about sudden cold in the garden. So basically we've had virtually no cold or a very minor frost at this point in the Raleigh garden, and that's about to change. We're about to have 5 consecutive nights in the mid-20s and then lower 20s. Which, as you know, depending on where you are in the country, that is not going to sound very cold at all. But for having not had any cold in the garden and then having some marginal plants here in our Raleigh garden, that is going to be somewhat significant. And so we need to think through a few things out here. We've done a little bit of planning because we were out of town for a little while. So before we went, we actually had sunk some things in the ground, and I'll show you that. But I'm going to walk around with the camera and just show you some things I'm thinking about as the temperature's falling rapidly. This is a home landscape in Raleigh, North Carolina that we're talking about here, but I was in the nursery business for 20 some years, and one of the main things I want to make sure I'm doing is winterizing all my hardscape, or all my non-plant related things right at the top of the list. So disconnecting hoses from the house, it should be at the top of the priority list. If you have an irrigation system, making sure it's winterized and ready for more severe cold to come later in the year. Every year we would have to winterize an entire giant irrigation system, of course, in the nursery, and make sure that we weren't, no matter, in a big nursery setting, you're always going to forget one thing at some point and, cause some damage to yourself. But it's pretty easy in a home landscape. Just make sure your irrigation systems, your hoses, those kinds of things, any place where there might be some standing water that you don't want to break something. Another one, if I spin around, try to spin around reasonably slowly here, but I always forget my rain gauge out here, my glass rain gauges, and will frequently, there was actually 3 inches of water in that I just dumped out, and it's about to have a thunderstorm now as this colder air is moving in. But I generally lose one of these almost every year. The water will expand as it freezes and crack that glass. So might be something you think about bringing inside before that happens to you. I keep this shade cloth in the back of my pickup. It's for covering plants when I travel with plants. I've got some other things I'm recycling in the back here, but this cover's gigantic. And if this was a short-term freeze, and there was a few things I wanted to protect, I can pull the shade cloth out of the back of the truck and cover some things with it. But any kind of cloth materials are best. The shade cloth is just, if it's a 50% shade cloth, you can see through, the fabric. Basically, it blocks about 50% of the sunlight. It's usually used over top of a greenhouse, but it's good to protect. Maybe raise the 5 degrees around plants, which, that can be all the difference on marginal plants in your garden. But you can use something like this shade cloth, you can use pillowcases and sheets and blankets and all kinds of things. If you're using plastic related things, make sure you're getting the plastic off. We plant a lot of our container plants directly in the ground. So there's a Nandina there. There's a Chamaecyparis right there that are in the ground. There's a variegated, got some weeds in the vegetable garden, but these plants are planted in the vegetable garden. I've got a variegated gardenia, very, very cold sensitive plant. Right there, and I want to make sure that thing's in the ground and not in a container, because the roots would be very vulnerable to it freezing. And I've got various other plants. There's a crepe myrtle that just lost its leaves, so it'll be kind of hard to see right there. There's a few magnolias over there that'll be cold sensitive. I've sunk these things in the ground, and so as long as the tops are hardy on these plants, then they're good to go, because the roots will be insulated in the ground. This is one thing you might get this time of year. Here's a euphorbia that's covered in new growth, and it's covered in new growth because I just brought it back from San Diego. I was in San Diego, and I'm bringing back plants like the Senecio, which have tons of new growth on them. So even if these aren't necessarily cold sensitive to the temperatures I'm getting, the fact that they're in a growth cycle because they came from an area outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, I need to protect these. So these 3 plants will go inside for those 5 nights that we're going to be down in the low 20s. I need to get these things acclimated. So there may be things that you're purchasing or have purchased, and you can take a look at them and go, wow, that thing's still awake. That's something you're really going to need to concentrate on, either covering during these nights, piling leaves around them. So I could take these containers and pile leaves all around them and then over the top of them on the coldest nights and then sweep it off after the cold is gone. But with this new growth, this is to another level. And these just need to flat out come inside. And then I need to get them acclimated through a series of 40-degree nights and 30-degree nights and that kind of thing before I just allow them to go right to 21 degrees Fahrenheit. My annuals are just absolutely going to be toast. These, you know, these pentas and things that are still blooming all the way to almost the beginning of December. They made it almost to December, and I think they're going to come up just short. Things like Angelonia is actually a perennial. I could dig that up and bring it in the house if I wanted to try to do that during the wintertime, but they're just annuals out here in our garden. Those things are going to be mush in 4 or 5 days, and it's just normal. I got more out of them than I've ever gotten out of them, so I'm totally happy with that stuff. Perennials, you know, there's some perennial things like this salvia that are going to go to sleep a little uglier than I'd like for it to. I mean, this is, you know, look at this. We're almost December, and this salvia probably at this point should have yellowish leaves. It might still have a few flowers in a normal year, but it would look like was heading to sleep. That thing doesn't look like it's heading to sleep at all. So it's going to get knocked back ugly. And so that's a candidate maybe that I would cover for the 5 nights just to try to add about 5 degrees. It'd still allow it to go to sleep. It'd be cold enough under the cover to get it to go to sleep, but it wouldn't go to sleep quite as ugly. And by ugly, I mean just frozen instantly to the ground. See, the one issue with a perennial like this is there's still moisture in these stems down at the base. And that moisture that's in this stem down here has the potential to freeze, expand, and actually crack this thing down at the base, going to sleep like this. It is what it is. And we just had, you know, I'm calling this video 5 Minute Friday sudden cold. I'm liable to lose a couple of these perennial salvia that are along this edge that still have all that water in the stems. Again, we could throw a cover over them. Another option I probably wouldn't do, but I could, because this thing's so tall, you know, cut it in half, and that would allow me to cover it a little bit easier. I'm not going to worry about it, but I would not be surprised that if a couple of these perennials that are zone 7, zone 8, I'm not talking about hosta here, that are zone 4 hardy. I'm talking about this salvia here that's barely hardy in my area, winter hardy in my area. This particular salvia, it's going to sleep in an ugly way, and it could damage it. This one right here that you're looking at is old enough that it's not going to have a problem. But that first one that I showed you, that's a new one from this year, has the potential to crack it down at the base and not come back next year. You know, that's life. But again, I could cover it. That's one option that I have, or I could flat out dig it out of the ground before the Monday cold and store it some other way during the winter time. I'd rather it have, you know, kind of snuck down. There's some things that are blooming that are just going to stop blooming. There's no covering this camellia at 20 degrees and have it continue to flower. You see it in full flower here. There's still some flower buds on it though that are tight, and if they haven't opened yet, they'll just wait until after, you know, after the freeze is passed and it warms back up a bit, and those will open. But the open flowers on these, they're toast. I mean, even with the cover, I'm not going to gain enough temperature to prevent those flowers from. But this is what camellias do. They bloom at a time of year when that's a possibility. And I've got other things flowering, like osmanthus are flowering, but it's completely normal for them to go from full flower at the first severe freeze to no flowers for a few weeks. These are insignificant flowers size-wise, but they're extremely, extremely fragrant. Let's see if I can show you that by using my hand here. You see those white flowers there? Insignificant, but super fragrant. It's going to stop flowering. Plant will be fine though. I have a couple aloes in containers out here, and I actually leave these containers outside because they need some cold on them to flower. Okay, you see these aloes coming into you know, what will be full flower. This is Safari Sunrise, and I can't remember the other one. These are the Southern Living Plant Collections, the Sunset Plant Collection, aloes. Really great plants. But in order to, of course they're full of leaves right this minute because leaves are falling, but those will need to come in for the low 20s, the free, you know. This is a plant that in order to get it to flower, it needs cool nights, shorter days, so I leave them outside. But then when it gets to the point where we're about to have a really severe round of weather, then that's the time that I'm going to bring them in. And they've gotten enough chill hours on them now that these flowers will bloom in the house without any problem. So at this point, they've gotten all the chill hours they need, but they need to come in. Containers are my biggest thing, is of making a decision. That aloe needs to be protected. Over here, I did this container. Patio's covered in leaves, but I did this container. It's got a boxwood in the middle of it. That boxwood's zone 5 hardy. It'll be fine in that container. Everything else in the container is an annual for me in my area, you know, or a marginal perennial, and I'll just let that stuff die. But that boxwood will be fine in that container through the winter. The things that I didn't think would be fine are planted in the vegetable garden, or they need to go in a garage for the next 5 nights, or they need to be assembled together somewhere and leaves piled up around them, and then possibly over the top of them during the coldest part of that cold weather. These leaves out here that look a mess, and there's more coming down. It's literally raining leaves as it's raining on me this morning. They look a mess, but they're nature's insulator. So this little layer of leaves that I have down around these plants and some on top of these plants, you know, this Mojo pittosporum, I'm right on the edge of where a really tough winter could potentially hurt this plant. You know, this is a plant that's not small. It's, you know, zone 8 hardy, and it tends to grow right up until it gets resistance, and, you know, it can get winter damage. This layer of leaves that's around them and over the top of them is an insulator for them. I'm definitely not going to take it off while this cold is about to come. So, you know, nature tries to keep itself covered this way. It keeps the soil life alive. There's actually life on some of these leaves that, you know, from insects and things that, you know, lay eggs on the back of, you know, oak leaves and maple leaves and other of our native trees. And so there's food for birds down here in this leaf litter, and this leaf litter is doing us a lot of favors, insulating the ground, holding in this soil moisture, allowing this water to get into our groundwater supply during the winter time and not run off. So just on and on and on. I could go on about the value of these leaves back here, and hopefully preventing some winter weeds from germinating, and on and on and on. So you, in the rush to clean up for Thanksgiving, I'm filming this on Thanksgiving morning, you know, I really don't want to, you know, clean these leaves off, which are doing me a favor in this upcoming cold weather. Most of the woody shrubs in this garden, even if they are slightly marginal, have now been in for some period of time, and I'm not going to worry about them a whole lot. But if you have some marginal plants in your garden that you are worried about in a sudden change, you know, they're new, they were planted this fall, you know, there's a fatsia right back there that's in flower right now. Those flowers are definitely going to get fried. You see those white flowers, and also that fatsia tends to be a little more cold sensitive than other plants. If I had just planted that might be a candidate that I would cover or even dig out of the ground if I was really worried about it, if it cost a lot of money, and store it, you know, in a sudden cold change where it hasn't been acclimated. It just has, 21's not going to hurt that fatsia if the plant had been acclimated. It just hasn't been acclimated. So it has the potential, but well-established things that are 2, 3, 4 years in the ground typically are going to be fine, even with these sudden cold changes. So I call these videos on Friday 5-minute Fridays. They're all going to be longer than 5 minutes, some 6 minutes and some 15 minutes. So thank you guys for following along with them. And again, the weekly garden planner is $50 off through the month of December. And the code is Weekly Garden Planner, and it's down below the video if you're interested in it. And this is the kind of weekly stuff that's on there, and it's usually about 10, I would say 6 to 10 videos a week going over things that you might be thinking about in your garden at any point during the year. They're not always tasks, but sometimes they're teachable moments of, you know, why things are doing certain things at different times of the year. So thank you guys so much for following along.